Welcome to the RSP NFL Lens. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at Antonio Gibson, the Washington running back, the rookie out of Memphis who played running back and wide receiver. Let me tell you, folks, this guy is raw. And when I say that, I'm saying that when you consider the fact that he's on pace for 1,134 yards from scrimmage and 12 touchdowns, and he has power to drag a defensive tackle like this. And the hand-eye coordination to be able to make catches or throws that are errant like that. I mean, he just plucks that thing out of the air. Look at this. Makes it look easy. And while the hand-eye coordination is really strong, he's also promising in terms of his eyes and feet and the link there. Watch this little cut right there to be able to get downhill like that. That's a very efficient move, and that's a promising thing for him because you got to be able to have control of your feet and have them linked to your eyes and what they see to make big plays, especially between the tackles. This is another good example. Watch him press to the left tackle side, then make the sudden stop and get downhill fast and get inside the two. I mean, this is a really nice play for a rookie. Even so, these are raw skills in terms of footwork, power, hand-eye coordination. Even this run where he manipulates the defensive tackle with a little okey-doke in-out type of move to get through this tight crease. We're going to watch it from the red zone view here. Watch how he heads towards the middle of this crease and he decides it's, as he reads the leverage, outside the hash, that he needs to make a little bit more of a dip to the inside. He gives that little head fake, and that forces 98 to actually come off his block and work to the inside a little bit more, and that gives Gibson the room he needs to get into this crease. This is nice work. There's a lot of things that he's doing that I would say he's doing on instinct right now, and that's why he's raw, and it especially has to do with his feet. And we're going to take a look at some of this because once this guy refines his skills, he can become a star running back in the league. Now, it's not a given that it'll happen, but he has the raw tools. Let's take a look at what he needs to refine. The first thing he has to do is to learn the difference between being an open field runner and a between the tackles runner. And one of the most fundamental things is make that one cut and get downhill. You can see he veers into traffic on this play. We're going to look at it from the red zone view, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You see right here, he sees the leverage to the outside that the defender has, and he's going to cut downhill up this hash. And that's fine, but you can see he's still cutting downhill in a less efficient way, and he's still veering to the outside. And when he sees the defender, the safety coming over the top, instead of continuing straight downhill here and dropping the pads or making a move as he gets closer or setting him up as he goes to stay downhill and make that move and get positive yards on the way, he veers into traffic. So he has to learn that the first rule when you start working between the tackles is make that one cut, get your hips turned fully, get downhill, square up the defender, and then try and make a move. Veering here, he loses about 5 yards on this play at least, and if he breaks the tackle of the safety, it could be a lot more that he could have gained. Here's another like this. You're going to watch him here, and he could have cut downhill on this particular play. You see that he veers around the penetration, and he ends up veering into blockers on this play. But if he has more efficient footwork, you can see right here, he has the opportunity, if he can get that outside foot planted and then really stick that inside foot in the ground and get downhill, at the very worst, he's going to run into this defender coming off of 71, but still probably run through the wrap and drag the defender at worst or break the tackle at best and have blockers downhill, and he might score if he made a sharp return here. He also has to lose the extra move. Once he gets into the open field, he's downhill here. He makes a defender miss, gets downhill, and starts to work to across the field. Right here, just keep going. Build up speed. Yes, there's going to be a safety working downhill from across the field, but trying to make that extra move, it costs him extra yards, and he ends up cutting way into other defenders and running into his own man. So this is one of those situations where use your speed, use your momentum-based power to take on a defender one-on-one like this number 23, than to try and cut back into traffic and end up running into your own man before you've even built up any of that power. And Gibson has the right idea here. You're going to watch him make an excellent cutback in terms of understanding that the creases are filled to this right side, and that's where most of the line is. And he works all the way to the left, and he has the speed to take the corner here. Really nice athletic play. But when you take a look at this from the red zone view, you can see that he could have been more efficient, because right here he makes a jump stop, and this is the point where he needs to point that toe, turn his hips, and work to the outside. But instead, he takes an extra step, and as he wants to try and open the hips, he has that front toe very close to 87 and pointed downhill, and then he has to make the turn here. And by the time he does that, he's about a good 2 steps behind of where he could have been, and would have easily beaten the end here and gotten further outside of the pursuit, and this could have been a long play. This is another play where Gibson could have tightened up his footwork here. He makes a hop and a more dramatic move to get downhill here, and you can see that the defender is basically on 71 is working to the outside, but then is about to spin around back to the inside, anticipating this cut back. Well, if he had his feet under him a little bit more, or if he just stayed downhill through this cut and shortened his stride, he could have either gone through this crease to the left as the defender's spinning and had a crease right through 73 up the hash for a big gain, or he could have flattened out a little bit more as he gets downhill. Instead of angling back into unblocked defenders, he could pull through the reach of the defender coming off of 71 and get inside 76 for a bigger gain as well. So he has to be more efficient here. And once Gibson can learn these basic skills with more efficient footwork, understanding how to get downhill quickly, learning how to maximize the leverage he reads, he can be more confident in following plays like this gap play where 82 works across along with 71, and instead of cutting this play inside, he can press inside and then follow 82 to his block and work along the back of 75, 71 and squeeze through 82 to wide open creases, into a wide open area. But instead, right now, because he's got that raw skill, he's leaning more on instinct and just looking to the open space, as opposed to really using, getting that refined tools that he should have to maximize what strategically he should be doing based on the blocking scheme. And once he does that, he can be an excellent running back. Now, it's no guarantee that he's going to be able to see everything that I'm showing, but based on what we've seen thus far, he sees a lot. He just doesn't know how to execute it because he's using raw materials as opposed to refined materials. And once he figures it out, look out for Antonio Gibson. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP NFL Lens videos, check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.